Hello everyone, welcome back to Roleplay Central. We're going to be tackling quite the amount of stuff today. We've got Valdas Spire Secrets that we're going to review, not in its entirety, but
we're going to talk about it.
Yeah,
because it's so big and
heavily delve into it, dive deep into it. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to talk about the Unearthed Arcana, the Player's Handbook Playtest 8, which isn't to be confused with the last Unearthed Arcana we did, which is somehow mislabeled or something.
Well, no. Ours is mislabeled because we saw that one came out after 7 and we called it 8, but it was actually just called Bastions and Cantrips.
Okay, yeah.
This one's called 8.
Yeah.
Right. So that one's like 7.5.
Yeah. So for those of you that will probably be confused, we just lied to you, and this is the real playtest.
We lied to you. We're bad people.
All right, but first I want to talk about how much stuff is just in Valdas to start off with. John's got that information right there.
Yeah, there's 10 new base classes, 152 new subclasses, new weapons and spells. Right. So there's 5 brand new races, 59 new feats, 137 new spells, and then a bunch of exotic weapons, magic items, and some brand new familiars.
Yeah, and then another thing to note is like this book. I don't think it's available yet, like for sale on their website, but like I got it from the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So I just barely got my copy. And so you'll be able to buy it soon, right? Because now they have the physical copies coming out.
And
so they'll probably have it up on their website soon.
Yeah, and also
and
to
then
note,
people will be talking about it.
The last time someone had even, as far as I can tell, in doing just a quick search on YouTube and stuff, anyone's talked about this is around about a year ago, so things might have changed since then. Probably have. So we're going to have the most up-to-date information as of right now. So yeah, let's jump in and start with the races. So first, Geppetto. Who wants to start it off? Who wants to kick it off?
I think it's really cool. This is the one that's it's the toy one, right? Yeah, we were just talking about that. That would be fun.
It's like living, breathing toys. As a race.
I forget. You can be a plushie, and then there's like 2 or 3 other ones, but you can be like different kinds of toys.
Yeah.
Right. You can be like.
In specific, I wrote down that I love the false appearance ability, which is where you can. They're hide in plain sight.
It's sort of like the ability that plant creatures have in D&D, where they can just hide.
Yeah, and like. It's just you stand still and you just look just like a normal doll or toy or something. Like it's insane.
Yeah. Just don't have Andy come into it.
Don't have Andy. Yeah.
Lift up the doll's foot.
You could potentially like, especially if you had kids playing with you, you could play a game and you could be just toys in a room.
Yeah.
And you could just play an adventure. You could play adventures as toys in a room, and then you stop when the kid enters the room.
You could literally.
It's like the Toy Story video game. Like they made an entire video game based on that.
Another twist. The kid's the bad guy, and the toys are trying to kill him. So you're trying to set up like you're trying to set up
a great adventure for the kids.
Yeah, you're trying to set up elaborate traps to kill the kid.
Teaching your kids, hey, everyone sucks, just kill them.
That's if adults are playing that game. That's the adult version of that game.
I do like your idea though to use them for a kids game. Like that works just fine. They can play their favorite stuffed animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring it to life.
That would be really fun.
Yeah, and then they got the mouse folk, right? That's the next one.
Well, next one I have is Mandrake.
Oh yeah, Mandrake. Yeah, I don't remember the order.
Heavily for me inspired by Harry Potter. Like it has to be. It has to be. Because
it's like a tree based guy, right? Like, and your sub race sort of like your ability that sort of your sub race is like where you were planted or something like that, or like where you grew.
Yeah,
I think
it's like where you grew, or like what? Yeah, it's when. It's not where.
Spring, summer, autumn,
yeah. So it's like
when the root ability changes based on what
based on like when you were planted
season?
Or something like that.
But I kind of think,
which is cool,
that should have been like. I really like sub races.
Yeah.
So I think this could have been an easy place to put in 4 different sub races, one for each of the seasons.
I mean, I like it being like this. It's sort of like how they're doing.
Well, it doesn't necessarily specify. So I'm wondering if it's just the time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe your character changes. Based
So it's like,
off of
it could be like a sort of like an Aladdin thing where you change
cool.
with the seasons.
That would make sense. It would be really cool.
Yeah.
And
then Mouse Folk is
Mouse Folk. This is one you said you didn't like.
Yeah. Well, it's not that I don't like it. It's just once again, sub-race opportunity should have put.
But I mean, that one ability, that sidestep ability, sounded really cool. The one that he mentioned.
It's just basically the problem I have with the Mouse Folk is it's not. It doesn't give you enough. In my opinion, like if you look at elves, for instance, and just a simple bare bones race like that, just how much they give you with a race.
How many features do you get? I forget, John. You have it open.
How many features on the
Mouse Folk? Yeah. How many? How many?
So
I think you
they get 3? The sidestep thing. Yeah, it's been a minute since I looked at Mouse Folk.
Lightfoot, which you have proficiency in stealth.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so that's like the halfling one.
You can move through the space of any hostile creature as if it were difficult terrain.
Yeah.
Squeeze. You suffer no penalty for squeezing through a space.
So it's all.
But you see, like it's all movement based on all the same things
based on how small you are.
But like.
So you can squeeze through an area that's one size smaller than yours.
But 2 of those abilities you could jam into one feature and add a whole different you could put more in this class is what I'm saying. But I mean it's Rattling's good as it is. I would play it.
Kind of cool too.
What is it?
Rattling's Gnaw.
Yeah.
Because you can basically chew through and break any basically small non-magical object that isn't being worn or carried.
Oh, cool.
So rope, wood, wooden rod.
Yeah, I mean, it's
chew through wood.
It's super
stuff like that.
It's super thematic, right? You get a ton of stuff based on the fact that you're small.
This would be this would be a super cool option if you had like a very centered, not necessarily a campaign, but if you had like a lot of instances where the campaign could go into more of like a stealthier
it would be a good rogue. This would make a really good rogue.
Yeah, rogue or
Mouse Folk would be a really good rogue.
Yeah,
it would be a really good barbarian.
That'd be funny too.
Just like awesome. That sound of battle cry. But I mean, I would play Mouse Folk 100% right now. I like it. It's awesome, cool. But I just feel like there was a missed opportunity. I'll say that.
Barbarian Mouse Folk.
A party of like just a horde of barbarian Mouse Folk.
You could throw each other.
And then we move on to.
I think it would be interesting to. Yeah. I mean, like as the DM, I'd probably allow people to like scurry up people's pant legs and like into their shirt.
Oh yeah.
And just like cause distraction.
So what size are you Are you in as that? Are you small or tiny? Because I feel like you should be tiny.
Size.
If you're a Mouse Folk, but maybe they made them a little bigger.
I'm gonna bring
you are small.
Oh, okay. So you're pretty big mice.
Maybe you're a run.
But I mean, you could be a mouse spellcaster and cast reduce on yourself and be a tiny mouse. You could be a regular sized mouse.
Basically from wherever.
Yeah, you could be a regular sized mouse.
But you can get into one size smaller areas.
Oh yeah, so you could probably do what you were saying. Yeah. And just like climb into somebody's armor or something like that. I would probably give you the benefit of having grappled that person, right? Because you're attached to them.
Maybe you unlink their plate armor.
That would be funny.
Or you spend the time to gnaw through their straps.
Yeah, you gnaw through the straps of their plate armor. Yep, it's a race feature. Yeah. I would totally
As a
be into
group
that.
of barbarians,
Right, you just start reducing their AC. The more stuff that you chew off.
And it does say that you can gnaw through anything that's
So you could gnaw through
less than
plate
or
armor.
that's basically. Well, no, it has to be.
Well, yeah,
It has
cloth
to
or
be-
something, right? Like that, right?
It has to be.
I forget.
It can't be harder than your teeth.
Oh yeah, so
But
like the
maybe-
straps holding it together, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Straps,
definitely.
you could technically gnaw through their
Yeah.
arm.
Oh yeah, you could.
Like technically.
Yeah. I'm thinking of that
Maybe not
scene from.
necessarily their. Well,
I'm
no,
thinking
you
of the
could-
scene from Too
you
Fast,
could
Too
still-
Furious, where they stick the bucket.
Oh,
on
yeah.
The guy, on the guy with the
Yeah.
with the live rat.
And they just start heating it up, and it's like,
Yeah.
I gotta go somewhere.
Man, that would be brutal.
Yikes.
Maybe you climb into the plate armor and you just start gnawing at the guy.
You
Yeah.
start going to town. It becomes a Friday Night at
They
Freddy's scene.
can't
You just
necessarily.
start
Yeah.
destroying
You just
people
keep
from
you
the
gnawing.
inside.
One turn you
No,
get in, the
around.
next turn you ask your DM, okay, I'd like to go in. I'm just gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat in.
I'm
gonna dig as far as I can.
Gnaw a big enough hole so that if they do whack me, it's mostly hitting
Oh,
my
man.
body. As
You would
opposed to-
definitely get advantage on those
You
attacks
could
and
be
stuff like that
so
to get in there.
freaking brutal. With
Oh man.
oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
The adventure becomes, do you dare to put on armor?
We just-
It's not from this
yeah.
world.
We just went
Well,
really
could
dark
you-
with the
could
mouse
you
stuff.
imagine like 3 or 4
Or the mouse race.
3 or 4 mouse folk doing that?
Yeah.
All at the same time.
Uh-huh.
You know, like
Ugh.
Like a troop of mouse folk.
you get onto the back of their leg.
troop
and you
of
start
mouse folk
gnawing
as-
at the-
assassins.
behind their knee.
Ugh.
Yeah, a troop of
Start
mouse
going
folk
after the
assassins that
tendons
do
and
that
stuff.
for a living.
Mhm.
Like that's how they assassinate people. They crawl into their clothes and just and
Ooh, at
Just throw
night.
that, go to town.
Say you have like you're
Jeez.
part of like an assassin's guild or
oh
something,
yeah,
and you're like going to kill a king or something.
Yeah.
You could go in the
you can
middle
go in
of the
some
night.
really dark places.
You
Yeah,
just
it's
go
like
into
you
the-
said. Like you said, they make
Go
great
into the
rogues.
middle of
Yeah,
the
great
night.
assassins.
Great assassins,
While
great
they're still
barbarians.
asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you get some. Maybe you figured out a way to craft some kind of a potion that keeps them asleep despite being gnawed on.
Yeah.
Some magic,
Yeah.
some magic altar you lay your prey on, and it
We
just
took-
can't feel it.
We took mouse folk in a really dark place.
That would be nuts.
Kids are loving this right now, though. I guarantee they're
Yeah.
loving it.
I mean, this isn't a kid's show.
No.
Right? It's not.
Sorry.
Anyways,
Anyway.
so what's the next race?
The next one is actually one of my favorites.
Spirit host.
Yeah,
it's
Spirit
it's the
Host.
ghost race. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
The
that's
thing
that
I
one.
love about this so much, though, is the spirit speech ability.
Uh-huh.
Can I borrow the book real quick? I can't really see English.
Did you want me to read it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
you
read
just
it.
read it.
So you can cast Speak with the Dead as, without requiring a material component. When you cast a spell using this trait, you can ask the corpse a number of questions equal to your proficiency bonus. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cast a spell
potentially ask
with
him more
it again
questions.
until you finish a long rest. You can also cast a spell using spell
gosh.
slots you have
Mm-hmm.
of the appropriate level.
This would make a really good race to
That's
play
cool.
the investigator class. Right, the investigator class is in this book.
Yep.
Right, this would be a really good race for that class.
That really would, yeah. Spirit folk investigator.
Uh huh.
Incorporeal,
Because you could interrogate the dead.
Or spirit host, I mean.
Yeah.
Spirit folk.
this incorporeal movement's pretty cool too.
Incorporeal, yep.
Yeah, you can move through stuff.
I don't know, like, the ghostly descent, I kind of got, like,
Uh-huh.
it's weird. It says you fall gently to the ground.
Yeah.
And at the end of the fall,
Uh-huh.
you subtract 60 feet. It's like, why would you have to subtract any more? Like, if you just
it's
gently
like
fall to the ground.
Yeah, it's
Like, why wouldn't that...
sort of like how
that's-
slow fall for monk works, right? How it just reduces it, like that, sort of.
Like feather fall?
Yeah, it's sort of like that. It's like a version of that.
I was just like, because the way they wrote
It's
it,
like-
it made
I
it
think
sound
that
like
they
it just
wanted-
descends. Yeah,
I think they
just
wanted to
gradually.
like give the idea of like gliding
Okay.
down, right? Because you're a ghost, you wouldn't
Yeah.
fall at a normal rate, right? But I mean, Yeah, I wouldn't see a problem with just giving you immunity to fall damage.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting when I read the words Ghostly Descent. I'm like, oh, okay, this is doing with movement. So like, you probably don't take fall damage. No, you still take fall damage.
It's severely reduced though. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part, you probably won't take damage because
no.
You're not generally falling greater than 60
And this
feet.
is another one you can go into really like horrible, dark situations with this.
Maybe that's why they wrote this. Why is the Spire of Secrets? We're discovering
this is secretly
a dark book.
Yeah, this is secretly a horror book.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
so I think
the next one is one of the more interesting
Yeah.
races is near human.
I love
it's a
this
variant
one,
for
yeah.
human. If you're going human, you might as well look at near human.
Yeah, basically, if you're half anything, you're near human.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I think you could actually. I was saying that's the other day. You could rope half orc and half elf into this.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you wanted to, right, or if you needed to,
mm-hmm.
right. Because you can like it gives options for like half like elemental style things, like half dwarf. There's half I think I forget troll. Like
mm-hmm.
there's tons of
And the important thing to note is you can only take this
So
at level 1.
Yeah.
And not like later.
Well, yeah, because it's your race.
Yeah. And I got so confused. I mentioned this to you the other day. I just got confused with how they worded it. Like it sounded like it was
they worded it
for
like
only while you're level 1.
They worded it like a feat, but really it's the reason they did that is because it replaces the feat that you get from variant human.
Okay.
Right. So this is like attached to variant human. And so, like, this replaces that feat. That's why it's saying it's saying you can only take it at level 1, so that you can't cheese it and just gain these at like 4 and 8 and 12.
Yeah,
right. You can't just at level 4 decide that your mom was a troll at level 4.
My favorite one of them is the immortal one. I don't know if you want to read that, John. If you can read it.
Do you remember what that one was called? Was it just called Immortal?
Yeah, it's called Immortal.
Oh.
What part did you want me to read? Like the ageless? Immortal resilience?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you don't age.
Mm.
Basically, I mean...
Yeah.
Can't be aged by magical or suffer none of the frailty of old age. You can't die of old age.
So yeah, you're immortal.
And then you have advantage on... saving throws you make to avoid end diseases and the poisoned conditions yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like this. I think this specific, it would be fun to make.
Yeah, I think near human's just really useful. There's a lot of use cases for it.
I think it'd be fun to go with another a class or subclass. No, class we're going to talk about, the martyr, immortal, martyr.
Yeah, you're immortal until
you're basically Hercules.
Until you hit your martyrdom, you're immortal.
Yeah. And you can cure your own diseases.
Mm-hmm.
All that. It seems pretty cool. We'll get into it later. Like the martyr is the class that is meant you're
a martyr.
You're meant to die, and you're going to a certain.
It's
death.
It's self-explanatory. You're a martyr.
But we'll get to that in a little bit. Well, let's start with the classes. First one being the alchemist. This one I just have a couple of short notes. It's just a bomb making class, and there's a slight dip into potion crafting.
I mean, it's a little bit more than a slight dip, right? There's a whole list of potions that you can make.
Yeah, but in general, compared to the rest of the class, it's heavily bomb focused.
Yeah, it's focused on making bombs and making potions.
Yeah,
right. And I like that they mixed a little bit of transmuter wizard in here, like a little tiny bit, right? With the stone that you get at the end.
Yep.
But yeah, they combined all that stuff, and I think they did it. I think they did it really good. Like I didn't mind the potion stuff getting it a little bit later. Like I think you hit that at 3 or 4.
Yeah.
The potion crafting, but you get the bomb crafting at 1.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like the class. I mean, anyone who's a fan of bombs would like the class.
It's super customizable because you have bombs and you have bomb formulae and discoveries.
Yeah.
So you have 2 different lists of abilities that you get to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you get a subclass.
Yeah.
Right. And your subclass comes with formula for bombs and potions.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's like it's super
That's
customizable.
funny. They have a non-lethal
Yeah, and
bomb.
They
I can't remember if this was the longest one or if it was a different one.
I don't know. But it's
one
really
of them,
cool.
like all of these classes are just like so in depth. Like they're all like at least 15, 20 pages each.
Yeah.
So it's so in depth, and every subclass is detailed out to the T, and like.
But yeah, if you want to play like a Ziggs like character,
Yeah.
or like something like that, like this is perfect for something like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can throw bombs all over the place. You can even change your bomb so it only affects so it can be like a single target attack or an AOE.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're a fan of bombs
And potions.
and potions, this
You
is your class.
don't get potions until like 3 or 4, but you do get them, and then you can make a lot of potions.
Oh, 13 makes this really interesting.
So if you're
which one is that?
If you're like ever in a party that like consistently uses healing potions, like you could probably work something out with the alchemist to.
Mm-hmm. What were you saying?
Make that-
What was that ability?
So, you make a discovery on a certain type of, I guess, potion making, right?
Yeah.
So there's like advanced poisoner.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess you can make more lethal poisons.
Mm-hmm.
Where there's alchemy of influence.
Mm-hmm.
Which you can make, like potion of animal friendship, fireware of love, potion of clairvoyance, potion of mind reading, and then there's like alchemy of transformation, which you can make like oil potions.
Yeah. I love that it pretty much evenly splits between bomb and potion, right? You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, you're right, but it kind of
like
felt
you
like
get-
it was
you get a little
more
bit of-
bomb making, like. And when I think of alchemist, this is me, maybe just me. But when I think of the word alchemist, I think of a potion maker first, then other stuff like that. So that's why it's kind of like weird for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially with people coming from like games like Skyrim and stuff like that, and Elder Scrolls games, where alchemy is literally only potion making, right? But then you like, I think that they took other inspiration too. Like they took inspiration from the Transmuter Wizard. They took inspiration from like characters like Ziggs. It seems like, right, like bomb making characters and stuff like that. But I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that it's intelligence. Like not enough classes are intelligence based, and these guys did a really good job of like I think 3 or 4 out of the 10 classes are intelligence based.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is really good because we didn't have enough of those.
Yeah, because
We really
wow,
didn't.
that's cool.
It's just wizard.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was gonna say it's just
What are you saying?
It's alive. So at 18,
Which one is that?
Your research into the field of necromancy has culminated in its
Alchemical?
yeah, probably.
alchemical, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Golem stitched together from discarded body parts.
That's
So you
cool.
can make a golem.
Yeah,
It's
so
an
like
alchemy golem.
it just goes in so many different
That's
ways, right? I love how creative you can be when building this. Right, there's a lot of different things you can do.
Yeah. But anyways, that is a.
That's cool too. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. There's
Alchemical
a lot.
assassin.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
in
that's
this
fun.
is
Yeah,
this
you
is
could-
I-
you could
this
look
is
into
John's
this-
first time seeing this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can look at this book literally for hours and just be
I know-
like, "That's
I know,
sweet.
there's so
This
much
is
stuff."
sick. This is awesome."
What would be cool though is
Uh-huh.
if you had somebody else, or if you could find some sort of, or somebody like if you were playing that class, if you could find somebody in your world that you're playing in,
Yeah.
who could make you like a launcher, so you could launch your bombs or
Yeah,
your
you could
potions or
extend the range. Yeah.
You make your own little fat
Because
man.
there's, I think the range is 30-90 on the bombs.
Yeah.
Which yeah, you could make a launcher that like increase the range. Yeah.
Just like a slingshot attached to a longer stick.
And I love that. I love that.
Yeah, you could do that.
I liked it. I liked that the bombs
They have
are
crossbows. You
the
can just
bombs
make
are
a huge
finesse.
But I'm thinking
So like
more
you can be a strength or a
like a grenade
strength
launcher.
or a
That's what I'm
dexterity.
thinking of.
Mhm.
Yeah, grenade
Like
launcher.
a grenade launcher, basically.
Well, you can. I would allow like a
You could.
like you make a crossbow like slightly
You have
bigger,
like a-
more rifle like, and you like
You
put
have
a cage
yeah.
around it, and then you just
You're describing a fat man.
Yeah.
I think.
yeah. We're describing
But yeah,
a fat man.
A fat man. from
But
Fallout.
in the fantasy universe
Yeah.
we're talking
Or-
about, I don't know.
Or if you
the-
had a mage or a wizard or somebody who had the spell catapult,
Yeah, catapult.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I think it would be
You
really
just
funny.
give them a few bombs. You're like,
It would be really funny to have like a
just make sure you don't
to have like
a
like a duo like two players. One's a craftsman and one's an alchemist, right? And the craftsman's like he like creates gadgets for the alchemist.
You know what would be
You know.
cool is if you and you and a friend want to play a class together, it'd be fun to make the alchemist like
Mhm.
a duo class where one of the abilities is you hold each other's hands and make a flip and throw a bomb like double its distance or something. You know, like it'd be fun. And like you can
Yeah,
stack
that would be
on
interesting.
on top of each other
Mhm.
and like throw something a little further. I don't know.
Or you could just make a big slingshot and you just pay somebody to carry it around
Yeah.
for you.
You can have hirelings in D&D. Yeah, you just hire somebody.
Here, put it here. Turn. Okay, right
Takes
there.
yeah.
It's like the Alice in Wonderland movie. Where are my slingshot?
Yeah, and you
boys?
can pay, and you can make that work with the action economy just by him using the help action. Right, he's helping me set this up. Right.
Or maybe you make friends with an ogre and you attach like a ballista type of a thing on the back of it, and you just
Yeah.
ride it around.
He just wears a big backpack.
You know, it's funny that we're talking about partners
So freaking
because
cool.
the next class is a partner class.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Because
If we
you
wanna
could
go
have
into
your
it now.
you could have your cohort.
yeah.
Do
The,
it. Your
the
partner.
captain class is next, and like he was just saying, it's about having a sidekick of sorts and
It's-
helping you be able to do stuff. It's more.
It's a
than,
lot. It's
more
a,
than a sidekick. It's more of a.
It's a
I
lot
don't know
like
what to
it's a
describe
lot like a lot of like warlord concepts that I've seen.
Yeah.
Right. It's a very it's very much a warlord
Yeah.
type character. Right.
Yeah. They have different
You have
banners that do
different-
different things, and
You have
And
you
stuff
you
like
sort of
that.
command different things in the
Yeah.
on the battlefield. You're a
at
strategist.
first I thought you were creating a little army
oh,
coming
really?
along with you, which until I read
No.
what cohort was, then I thought it was you had like a small
Yeah.
legion of soldiers. And you
Yeah, but it's just one. It's just
I mean,
one sub. It's just
Technically,
one
you still could.
guy. Yeah,
could-
because
you
you
could have a
can
bunch of, like,
you can
paint
hire
mercenaries or something.
people in D&D.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could have like your cohort
A
plus
small
a bunch of
army.
hirelings,
Mhm.
and you could just bring an army with you everywhere.
Just a small army.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have to pay them all that much. I mean, literally, like,
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure in game,
Mhm.
like, soldiers get paid 10 gold a month or something like that.
Yeah, I don't
You just have to
remember.
make sure
like,
you're finding it.
I think I would just like
or making
Which
it.
you could probably make that much.
Yeah.
I mean,
You go into a town and just slay the evil big monster thing, and you charge like 100 gold. You're set for 10 months.
Well, I mean, you slay the dragon, you move into the lair, and then you're rich.
Yeah. If you find a dragon, you're just rich.
Yeah,
Unless you
just
die,
take,
you're not.
You just take that as your home base from now on. You're yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how that works though. This is kind of a side
Yeah.
tangent thing.
Yeah.
How it is like dragons have a layer and there's always something huge and crazy in there. Like I'm gonna give the example of Critical Role where Geladon, I think that's the name of the dragon that they used in this most recent. Or no, is it Geladon? Or is it someone else?
I haven't watched the
They're
recent.
white-
I only watched
white
campaign
white dragon that lived in an ice cave that had a giant teleporter in it,
one. Uh-huh.
like a full-on massive teleporter from way back. It just made its
Uh-huh.
lair there somehow. It just
Uh-huh.
found it.
What do you see, John, from the captain?
just
Yeah, it's basically like a warlord.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Except for like it's more about you and your companion,
Mhm.
but like there's still a lot of abilities that you get where you can help your your other allies.
Yeah,
Right.
this is a good chance to shout out our product, the Warlord class that
Yeah,
we made.
we made a Warlord class.
It's not anywhere near like this. It's not like having companions around you to help you do stuff. It's you are getting next to your companions to give them buffs and stuff like that.
To your
more or less
party members,
It's a very, very heavy area of effect class. You just like center stuff on yourself and then things happen. But anyways, nice little shout out from one of our products if you may be interested. But
I like that you get to pick a fighting style.
It's very like fighter
Which is
forward.
nice.
Right. There's a lot of meat that's still there from the fighter.
Yeah.
Right. But it's more of a tactician, more of a support a little bit.
This would be really good to do if you were like head of a town or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you had like a small I don't know, like if you were like the leader of like a small town and you decided that I'm getting bored of this. I just want to.
Yeah, and
I want to go. I want to go on adventures and want to do all this. That way, then you have like a steady income of like gold that you can already pay. Like a small.
Yeah, exactly.
Army, you know, even if it's only if you only have
like now that I think about this,
have like 22 members, including you and your cohort.
And now that I think about this, like I mean, not to bring it to like we're talking about a fantasy game. But, in like even in the real world military, there's a captain, and then there's someone that's just below him to be the assistant, basically, to help him with whatever they need.
That's what the cohort is, right?
Yeah, and then they give you stat blocks for all the cohorts, and the cohorts actually level up with you. So, so they get abilities
I would take it as
you
far
level
as
up.
even just doing that with like if you had your own small army. I would, I'd make it so
give them like minor abilities like that.
Yeah.
If you were playing like a big like Risk style campaign where you're commanding massive groups of troops and stuff, I would use this class. And
another shout out to another product, MCDM's Kingdoms and Warfare. Right, that's exactly what that's for. Is when you're commanding big armies, right? In fights. What were you saying?
I would. I mean, if it were me, and like say one of you were to pick that as your class.
Yeah.
If you did want to bring along like 20 other people, you have a small militia, or whatever.
Yeah.
I would allow you to like pick. Okay, you have this. You can have this many spellcasters, this many fighters, this many tanks. If you want.
I would just say like, okay, if you're playing on
the way
you pick, and as long as they survive, they're going to level up at the same time you level up.
What were you saying?
I would do it kind of like that, but I'd like make a table like how you have when you're getting starting equipment, you can buy people. Buy or hire people as starting equipment if you choose. You'd have to choose to take the gold that you get with your class as starting equipment, and then use that to start your hiring of things.
Yeah, and I
wouldn't put them into like a specific.
The way that Kingdoms and Warfare works is like you get units of people, and a unit is like 6 or 7 guys, or like I forget the exact number, but it's like a bunch of guys, right? Yeah. And you can command an amount of units equal to your proficiency bonus.
Okay.
So like you so
you could just do that,
basically,
but with this class.
Yeah, you could do something like that. Definitely.
Yeah.
And you could kind of scale. You could scale that essentially with whatever level you're at.
Yeah, the captain is really now that we're delving deeper into this is like a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Than just
it's
like
cool.
when I was looking at it before, I'm like, oh cool, it's you get a sidekick and but now it's actually pretty cool. But next is one that we all have somewhat agreed that is kind of a direct bolt-in replacement for the Artificer as it exists right now.
I think it's better.
Yeah. The Craftsman is literally like an Artificer. You're building magic items and tools and stuff like that. You said there was a better system, like it costs gold and
it takes gold and time to like create something, but like whereas like the Artificer, like you play around with your tools for a second and then the thing magically appears, right?
Yeah.
That's the description. That's basically the description for most of the artificer, like things that you create, right? But this, you actually have to take time and money and put it towards something, and you actually build the thing.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting options.
Yeah, it even makes the magic items more like it makes creating magic items even more plausible, right?
Yeah.
Whereas,
and it makes them like, I would imagine doing that to a player would make the item feel,
yeah,
not sentimental. Maybe that's what I'm looking for, but like it'll mean more. It's more meaningful, yeah.
The only thing that I don't like about this class, I forget the name of the feature, but it tells you how you can create stuff. I don't like that it says specifically that you can't sell it for more money than you made it.
Oh yeah.
So like it makes an arbitrary like thing saying like you can't
create a business.
you can't make a business out of this, right? You can make stuff. I think I would just delete that paragraph or ignore it.
Yeah, that's
because like it's kind of just arbitrary. Like you just can't like create stuff to make money.
Honestly, if it were me,
right.
I would probably.
I would just ignore that paragraph.
I would. For as far as like the gold cost and stuff.
Yeah.
I would just make it half of whatever, or maybe 3/4 of whatever.
Whatever it is you're making.
Item,
whatever it is you're creating.
like if you were making a magic item,
look up the price of it and see
like what. Like at that level, this is how much gold it would be. So it's going to cost you this much because why would
that's fair.
Cost more than what?
Yeah, that's fair.
It would sell for.
I mean, I would keep the limit on the gold amount, right? Like in the class, but just let them kind of go free form with it.
Yeah, and like. Just to touch on the business thing again, like this is a great thing to go with Bastion if that ends up being a thing.
The Bastion system,
then working with having yourself or a party member be a craftsman, and on top of having a Bastion that just somehow just spits out magic items on a consistent basis, like that's the basis for any good business.
Your Bastion just makes magic items on itself.
How? We never know. Maybe all the mouse folk are tearing up the pieces.
Or maybe the Bastion is
bring them to this.
Maybe the Bastion is a giant mimic.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
It's like an elder mimic.
I just like thinking that like all of your kills mysteriously just go missing. No one can find anyone that's died.
Especially if
they're in the back.
Especially if the mimic is friendly to your party, right? And so you live in it, and like whenever you come back to it, just in case you're like being followed or something like that, it changes shape every time you come back to it.
You have to feed it to keep it happy.
Yeah. You bring it monsters and feed it, and it keeps your hideout.
That really red dumpster out back? I don't mind that.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's happy. I mean, what?
Yeah.
What? Did I say something?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's Craftsman. We're not going to talk in depth about every single class. We want you all to be able to see that,
to buy it and play around with it and look at it yourselves.
We might mention a couple of abilities or here and there and rate them,
but yeah, I mean, we don't want to go too deep.
Yeah, so we'll move on to the next one, which is Gunslinger. This one is kind of insane because several abilities in this.
Are you
class.
looking at it now?
Oh,
no, are you still looking at
that one? Because
really?
I already know about.
Oh no, you don't.
Did
you already look at it?
Several abilities in this Gunslinger class bring your critical hit range down like by 3. Like you get it down to like 16 or 17, and that's insane. You can almost every time you roll hit critical.
In my version of Barbarian that I made, I actually did that. I increased the crit range on the Barbarian.
Yeah, I think that's fun. Like that's when players have the most fun in their combat scenarios, is when they can deal the massive amounts of damage. So why not encourage that with the increased range?
Mm-hmm. And I like that you get access to all the deeds.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's 6 deeds, and you get access to all of them all at once. So it's not like you get 2 of them and then you get 1 more and then you get 1 more, like some classes.
And I like the I forget what it's called again. It's a certain die. It's a D8, the risk die. I really like that whole system and how you do your different types of shots.
Yeah, you can do special different kinds of shots based on if you have to spend risk.
Yep. And
you spend risk on the deeds too, right? Yeah. They're abilities that you spend risk on.
Yeah, that whole system that works great and it keeps it much more balanced and can make your turns different every time.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, John?
Sounds like a classic gunslinger.
I mean, there's a lot of...
John's not thrilled by this gunslinger.
No.
I mean, it's cool.
No, but it's kind of...
I'm not going to bash
true.
Yeah. You know. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I just went to the Indiana Jones class. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I like how all of the subclasses are based on the different kinds of guns that you can use, or a lot of the subclasses are, right? Like they have a heavy gunner one, and they got a sharpshooter, and one that uses pistols, and you can be any kind of gunslinger that you want to be. You can even be like a gambler kind of a gunslinger, right?
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to do
basically any archetype that you can think of from a Western movie, you can be.
It'd be interesting for us to make a pirate subclass that would be like a more of a gunslinger type of thing.
That's what was going to be the gunner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So keep an eye out for that if you're on DM's Guild.
Yeah, and you like our pirate.
Maybe in the future we'll have that up. Mm-hmm. But let's move on to the next one, which is the Investigator.
Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Yeah. Where you analyze and study supernatural threats.
Constantine.
Yeah, like the DC character Constantine for this.
Yep.
Like it's very like there's a lot of Constantine. There's a lot of Indiana Jones. There's a lot of that flavor in here. And you know,
you're studying the supernatural, and then you're also finding tools and stuff to use against them, and having different abilities.
And then you get access to basically all the rituals, the rituals you want. Yeah,
that's one thing I wanted to actually mention is like one of the coolest abilities in this class is that rushed incantation.
Yeah,
where you can just like instant speed a spell or a ritual. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think you can do it.
Yeah, you can do a certain amount of times,
like once per short or long rest or something. But like it's. But imagine ritual casting a high level spell if it allows you to, and you just done in an instant. Like it could be faster than what anyone else could cast it in. Like it takes a minute to cast, maybe, but you can just say, "Nope, it's right now." Like teleportation spells, like that's a really good class to have teleportation hooked to.
I still think this is a really good one for the spirit folk.
Yeah. That spirit speech ability on this thing, is just insane. Asking questions to dead stuff. Extra questions.
Yeah.
I wonder what the maximum.
Is that a ritual too?
I think it is.
I wonder what the maximum.
I don't remember that. I could be wrong, but what are you saying?
I wonder what the maximum amount of questions you could get would be.
Well, it says on Spirit Folk. I think it said your proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
So it's 6.
So 6.
So it would be double. Question. It's twice as good as regular.
So at epic level, you'd have extra question asked.
Yeah, you'd have 3 extra questions.
Yeah, 3 extra. Yep.
It doubles it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget most of the subclasses on this one.
I did not write them down.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Are there any subclasses that you like on this one, John?
This is a really cool concept, and I'm
probably out of frame.
I wanna play this. Definitely want to play this.
I didn't really look over a lot of this.
Yeah, I just don't like. It's been a minute since I looked at the subclasses on this one specifically.
Yeah.
But what class is next?
I have Martyr being the.
Oh yeah,
next
Martyr.
one.
Yeah.
Martyr. We're gonna have some stuff to talk about. So
That
let's just dive into it now.
Yep.
It basically sounds like a reborn cleric.
So the basis of the
you
class,
can play it that way, definitely.
as I understand it, is you are going to die.
You're destined to die.
It's just you have a complete choice as to how you die
and
when.
There's no other class like it, because like the final ability in this kills you.
Yeah.
Right.
And like you can't
die after you.
I love the flavor throughout the entire thing. Like somewhere in the early levels, there's like you can't benefit from healing that you give. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, and you
can't be selfish.
I think you have extra death saving throws too. Like so, you get a massive amount of plot armor, and then eventually you use your ultimate ability, and then you die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like cool. There would be so much flavor in this. You could just build. You could build like if you think of any epic hero, like you can build it with the Martyr. And it's just flavor.
And their hit die is D12, so they're tanky. They're hard to kill. Even when you got them down, they're hard to. It's hard to stick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fix something on my notes real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just seems like
It's really cool. I think.
Like a paladin, more or less.
Yeah, it's like a paladin, definitely. I could see a paladin multi-classing with this, right?
Or maybe your paladin.
Like
died.
you realize that you like have
maybe the paladin died.
Oh yeah.
And the gods were like, "Hey, you're not.
We have another path.
You restart level 1 and you're a martyr."
Yeah,
that's
you restart level 1. Yeah, that would be really cool.
It's the gods that dictate. Yeah, you're gonna die, but we need you to go on an epic quest first.
Yeah.
I could see that. That would be a really cool transition.
Exactly.
If you were going from one.
This would be a good thing to do.
One game to another.
Yeah.
And it was like
to transition.
I was a paladin in my previous life, and I've come back as a martyr.
Like this would also be a good option if you're doing a level 20 one shot just for one time.
Yeah,
and like your character could be a martyr, and you just
this is perfect for a level 21 shot.
Yeah,
I mean, this is perfect.
If you never plan on using the character again, it can die all at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this could be like Shiler's class from when we first started playing. We had to remake characters.
Yeah. When I played the shaman
or the cleric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least this guy's meant to die.
I'm gonna distract him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's before I knew what damage was.
It's funny. Good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Early D&D. Some of the best times. All right. Any other things about the Martyr?
I think it's really cool. There's nothing. Yeah, there's not much else.
Yeah. One more thing to add to it is I like how it says you become a legend and lore at the end.
Oh yeah.
Like you're written into storybooks.
It builds lore into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of when stories mixed in with really anything, with movies and games and all that stuff. So having this mixed in with the class is great. But the next one we're going to move on to is something you guys will probably know just by the name of it. It's Necromancer.
Yeah, Necromancer.
It isn't specifically cool. Like animating dead.
It is.
It's animating like thrall.
Well, it is though. It is though, because you are animating the dead.
Yeah.
Right. Within 30 feet of you, you animate the dead up to a certain CR. Right. And then like the CR increases, so you can increase the amount of undead, right? And then they're just automatically like they're under your control, right? And then eventually you get the spell animate dead, and then you get and that spell is actually better than the original spell, right? That it's buffed. I forget exactly how it's buffed, but I remember it's buffed.
My favorite part about this is when you're able to achieve lichdom.
Read Bag of Bones, John.
And gain a phylactery.
Did you see that feature?
Like, I love how every subclass has the phylactery changes to something. Like, there's one where it's a coffin. Yeah. Your phylactery is just a coffin filled with dirt.
And then Bag of Bones is a really cool feature. But basically, you get a bag. It's like a bag of holding, but it's just for dead bodies, and you can fit 10 dead bodies in it. So like this is the perfect murder hobo.
Yep.
Right. You.
That would be
hide you in your back.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to have that. You know that murder hobo subclass we had on DM's
The class, you mean?
Yeah, the class. Yeah. If you go a little bit in that, then you multi-class into the necromancer. Just get the bag of bones, and then you're.
Yeah, I love Bag of Bones. It's such a cool feature. Right, and it can be any container. It says it doesn't even have to be a bag. You could have a jar.
Maybe it's like a Harry Potter thing. It's like maybe it's
I got a jar of bones.
complete with rum.
Yeah.
On your own little.
But yeah, and the CR increases, so you can basically increase your army of undead. Right, and the same way we were talking about building armies with the captain, right? You can it's literally built into the class that you can have an army of undead, right? Yeah,
I kind of this was one that I didn't fully read through because I was trying to get. This was the point where I started like kind of quickly going through because it was last night. And I need to kind of get this stuff done.
You were reading through it, yeah.
So I did like though the. Like
I like the lich aspect,
becoming
like you were talking about.
A lich, so easy.
You become a lich it's at level 20, so it's not necessarily so easy. But
I mean, like all the other things I've seen, you have to do.
But you
have to do a bunch of stuff. You have to go obtain this item and this item and this item, and then you can become a lich.
Well, there's actually a transformation for lich in the Ghostfire book.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, you can become a lich. You have to be level 13, I think, because you have to have access to at least 7th level spells. So you have to be at least level 13 to become a lich, but you can become a lich. It's a transformation in that book.
Ooh, cool.
It's either the campaign guide or the player's guide. But yeah, that's a really cool one too.
But the reason why I like phylacteries so much is because like if you happen to be in a party with a good rogue or something and they steal the phylactery, if it's possible, you just can control the lich. So it'd be funny if you were playing a necromancer and you're level 20, you're a lich, and someone just takes your phylactery, you got to do what they say.
Yeah, I mean it's like the guy's heart in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. That's his phylactery, right? Yeah. If you have the heart, you have control of him, right? Or like Voldemort, right?
Yeah,
he had like 7 or 8 phylacteries.
Yep.
Right, that his soul was like bound to. But yeah, it's really cool. You can be a pharaoh, and the pharaoh becomes a god king. I love that.
John, you got any thoughts on the necromancer? You play them all the time in Diablo.
I love the bag of bones thing is my favorite thing.
Yeah,
and it's one of the first. Yeah,
Ganon over Reanimator.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that has to do with animating dead.
Yeah, so I was wrong about it not being.
You become Frankenstein basically with the Reanimator. One.
You become what?
Frankenstein.
Like yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to the next one.
When you cast Animate Dead, like basically like that goes into like the CR of the max CR, right?
Yeah.
So like if you animate a dead body and that moves your CR around, you can just release some of the undead that you have under your control, so you can have that one. What's next, Warden?
Yep, the Warden is next, and we're probably about halfway through the book. Not even halfway through. We're already an hour in the podcast. So
that's good.
So we're gonna.
So I mean, we could probably stop at the end of classes, or no, we can go a little farther. Huh?
Well, I say we just keep going through everything.
Yeah, we should be able to keep going. We should be able to keep going. So yeah, what did you think of the Warden?
I just wrote down what it's kind of like for the rest of them because I didn't really look at them in detail.
I love that it's sort of like a tank, right? So like you have like a taunt ability, right? So you have the ability to like basically keep people in combat with you, and it's really defensive, and it's really it's heavy on like battlefield control, and so like it's a serious tank, right? It demands attention from the other side.
Cool.
Yeah, I wrote down that it's a
Primal
protector.
toughness. He's freaking nuts.
What does that one do?
So your hit point maximum increases by 1 plus your Constitution modifier, and it increases by 1 every time you gain a level.
Yeah, so you're even tankier.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is
healthy.
This is just as legit as Barbarian as being a tank.
Yeah, I wrote down that it's a protector style fighter of sorts.
More tanky than Barbarian.
Especially because of the taunt, right? Barbarians don't really have a taunt, right? Their taunt is reckless attack, right?
Yeah.
I thought this was like a tank style, like in the middle of fighter and barbarian, like the class right in the middle of those two is Warden, and because they can deal a lot of damage and they're also super tanky.
Yeah.
So
it's like you said, it's probably a better tank than Barbarian, even though the hit dice is a D10.
That Constitution buff, though.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, especially one of the abilities. One of the abilities, like you get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing if you're below half hit points, and then past that a little bit, you just get resistance against everything except for psychic if you're at half or below. So like it's really cool, like really big tank.
Yeah. And on the opposite side of that, you have War Mage next, which is what I put down as a fighter that can cast cantrips and improve their effectiveness.
It's a really good. It's a good idea. It's a good representation of a Gish.
Yeah.
Which is like a fighter spellcaster.
Yep. Except they can only cast cantrips, from what I understood.
Yeah, but they get
better and better, and you can upgrade the things.
It's like a cantrip master.
Yeah.
Right. Plus fighter. Right. And all of the, I love that all the I love that it's themed around like chess and like gaming. Right. All the subclasses are themed around chess or like dice or gambling or cards or whatever. Right. And you get two cantrips from a feature. You get it early, and then you get 10 more cantrips as you level up. Right. So you get 12 at least cantrips in this, which is crazy. Not to mention all your combat utility.
Yeah.
It's one of the best. It's one of the best Gish classes that I've seen.
Yeah, all of these classes are just like hit after hit after hit. It's just you want to play them all. Like,
and I mean, I've said it before to you. Like, I really think that these guys are better. They're better player option designers than Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, and they can put like. How long would it have taken Wizards to make this book with this many options and stuff? It would have taken them ages.
Well, and I'm not saying they're better at everything, but they are better at like especially class design. Because everything's a lot more, and it's a lot more like there's a lot more attention to detail and like theme.
Yeah, I kind of think like that's where Wizards might have overstepped a little bit is. They started designing all the stuff for the game as opposed to like maintaining rule sets and creating alternative supplements for the game and assets. But
I'm just a little bit confused. I'm reading over the Night Gaunt.
Yeah.
Right.
The Night subclass?
The Night Gaunt subclass. The one that you're undead, essentially.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So there's this ability that says at 3rd level. So it's a mark for death, is what it's called. So at 3rd level, you're.
And this is in War Mage, or I mean, what is it called?
Warden.
Warden.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, you're still in, no. What
sorry.
is it?
So it says your mark leaves a shadow of undeath on your target, beckoning it to die. If you deal damage to the creature you have marked with a melee weapon attack. And its remaining hit points are lower than the damage you dealt to it. The marked creature drops to 0.
So it's
really
read it once again.
Confused.
Read it once again.
Right. So it says, so if you deal damage to the marked creature, with a melee attack, and its remaining hit points are lower than the damage you dealt to it.
Yeah.
With that attack,
So if you
the
deal
marked creature
over,
instead drops to 0.
if you deal over half of their health, then they just die. That's basically what I'm getting from it. If you deal half in one attack, if you deal,
I don't
remember.
Right?
Yeah,
If you deal-
I haven't looked at that
The
one. I don't
wording
think.
just seems a little weird because if you've already dealt, if you bring
I
it
see it for a
to
second?
0
I just wanna look.
already,
Yeah, and then I'll hand it back.
then why?
I'll hand it back. Okay.
I mean, I'm just.
So
wondering
which
what
one
the
is it? It's
significance is.
Night
like
Gaunt.
when you have
Mark's
something.
death.
No. But listen to this. Like when you
Yeah.
have something that has low hit points, like when you deal half of their hit points, then like if it's
But
if
it's
it's
saying
if
that
the
to
remaining
a
that they
creature
have
you
left
have
is
marked with a-
less than the amount that you just dealt to them, they just die instantly.
Oh. Okay, so if you deal over half,
Yeah.
then they just drop to 0.
So it makes it easier to kill things.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is like what I'm thinking.
Is that what? Yeah, that would make sense with the way it's worded.
Yeah, because it's talking.
So
it's
if it
talking
has,
about
like,
the last.
6 hit points
It's
and you do
it's talking
4.
about the last hit that you did to it. And if you hit
Yeah.
it again, it dies.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah. Yep.
So you have to deal half of the remaining hit points, and then it drops to 0.
So what I got from this, Tyler, and let me know if this is correct, is that
That's pretty.
you make an attack. So say this monster has 30 hit points.
So you mark it as part of your class feature.
Yeah. Okay. So you've marked
Right.
it already, and this thing has 30 hit points.
Mhm.
If you deal 16 damage to it, where you've done over half of it, it doesn't have enough points remaining to
Mhm.
cover that damage you dealt to it, so it's just dead.
Yeah, I think so.
Drops to 0.
Yeah.
Drops to 0 here.
Yeah. So
Neat.
yeah. So for smaller creatures, it basically ensures that you kill them in one hit.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just
Like
having a
if
hard
you
time.
have a good time.
No, yeah.
I was having a hard time
that is
understanding that.
no, that is confusing.
That is. Yeah.
That is confusing. I actually didn't look at that one
Like I
before.
read
So
over it, and then I read over it
it's the
again.
first time I looked at that one.
And it's a melee attack, right?
confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
Sorry.
But
no, it's all
anyways,
good.
Yeah. No,
Didn't mean
yeah.
to jump back.
But yeah.
All right, let's move
I
on
love
to
War Mage.
let's move on to another one that seemed really
Witch.
broken to me. Witch.
You think it's
Which
broken?
I think it's if Warlock could be full caster, that's what a witch is.
So yeah, a witch focuses on hexes
Yeah,
and
especially-
curses and
they
stuff
have-
like that.
An ability called Grand Hex that happens that upgrades like 4 times I think throughout its whole.
So yeah, they get
1d20.
hexes and they get and they get a bunch of familiar related features.
Yep.
Right. So they get the familiar and the hexes, and I love that it's the thematic sense of this class because it's like the classic witch. Like you think of a witch from like a Disney movie or something like that,
Mhm.
like or something classic that we've all seen,
We're
right?
thinking back
This is
to,
like-
Salem.
This is like that kind of
Seems to be
this is that kind of witch.
just looking at it.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the kind of witch with the cackle, with the familiar, with that focuses on cursing
Yeah.
people,
Hexes.
right?
Yeah.
Curses and hexes, and and
The
it's-
traditional
and
Halloween witch.
the witch itself is cursed, right? And you get a different benefit based on how you're cursed,
Yeah.
right? Based on your specific curse. Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to implement a subclass with this that like also deals with cursed
Mhm.
weapons.
You can make potions. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a
The
charisma
witch
class
is super fun.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually bought this class separate
Yeah.
from Mage Hand
Before
Press.
this came out,
Yeah,
I
and
love witches' hat.
Which one is that one?
So you can perform a 24-hour ritual to enchant a structure that can fit within a 15-foot cube. Animating it as a huge object, as per the animate object
Mhm.
spell. The structure raises up on a pair of magical legs.
Oh,
And
so it's like
falls.
Baba Yaga's hut.
yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
But yeah, I love how thematic it is and how like it really resembles all of the witches that you can think of from fiction, right? Like
I played
all of
this
them,
class just
the
for witches.
maniacal evil witches,
The
that
Wizard of Oz
that
witch.
curse things. Yeah, Wizard of Oz is perfect. Is a perfect example, right? Yeah, I love this. Yeah,
that type of witch. Yeah. So that's all of the classes that we have in this book. Anything else you guys want to talk about on the classes?
Anything, John? You see?
So for this next section,
now it goes into like subclasses.
I do like these, like the red magic, the steel magic. The
I
steel
love
magic's really cool.
Yeah, I love all the like they're all very, very different. All the subclasses
Basically
for this.
Become a sword witch.
Yeah, you can be a gish, another kind of gish.
So one thing I wanted to do with the subclasses, the 100 whatever.
There's actually more subclasses in the witch in the like witch document, right? That that they released before, and they're all still compatible with this. And there's like a candy themed one too. There's all kind like there's like 16 subclasses in the, or there's like 14 to 16 I think subclasses on the witch on that document. So like there's even more.
Yeah.
Tea magic seems pretty cool.
So, what I wanted to do for the, I think why I was wrong on the number of subclasses was because I wasn't counting the classes subclasses.
Yeah, that's what.
So that's where the numbers different.
There's a lot of subclasses.
But I have 3 chosen out that I wanted to go over.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have any on hand. That
let's go. I don't have any in memory. No.
These 3 are are super fun, and I like the last one especially. Is the funniest, coolest one. Yeah. So the first one is the College of Jesters. So it's more of an acrobatic bard, and I love it. And this also
laughing at something.
This also branches into an idea. Like I want to talk to you about this idea later. I want to make a full jester class, but it's not like an acrobatics
like a clown class.
Like, I want to make it like kind of like Shaco and more of an assassin type of a class.
Yeah.
Overall, and like have a shadow.
What is it?
You can't not tell us now. Come on.
The Path of Muscle Wizard.
Oh yeah, I love that. You get all these like
magic.
Yeah, you get magic. That's one of my favorite ones. In there.
I just love the descriptions of this, like the mage hand.
Yeah, you get mage hand.
As a bonus action, you can hit a creature with a melee weapon attack on your turn. You can use your hand. You are a mage after all. To attempt to shove the target.
You are a mage. So you can use your hands.
Or like, I love the cantrips thing.
Yeah, you
can call upon your magic to
John, you might like this one.
Cantrips in combat.
You might like this second one that I have.
I love it.
It's the Highwayman Ranger.
Yeah.
The Robin Hood robber, like Robin train
Highwayman,
type of a thing. That looked really cool. It's got a lot of disengage and escape stuff hooked to it, so it's like a really mobile subclass for a ranger, which is really interesting.
I think that that's the only kind of spellcasting barbarian that I'm cool with. Right? It's the kind that thinks they're a spellcaster.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because right after them,
I know there's an actual spellcast.
Rage mage.
Yeah, there's an actual.
The barbarians that know if they think hard enough, they're gonna cast a spell.
I love the picture too.
Yeah.
And the one that I think is the most fun and like just absolute comical is the Toon Magic subclass.
Oh yeah, the cartoon one. Yeah,
it's just meant to be chaotic and funny. That's all it is.
That's a sorcerer, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Another one I liked in sorcerer was the ooze one.
Yeah, I was also gonna put that on here, but I only went with 3. So
yeah.
You don't know how it got there, but you're somehow blood relatives with ooze.
With an ooze, yeah.
You get all this weird stuff. But this Toon Magic thing, it basically allows your character to become a cartoon, which I love.
Yeah.
And it says giving you the wacky spells and all the tools you for you to create a beautiful cartoon chaos. And then my favorite ability was the comic timing ability, which I can read. Thing's hilarious. I just gotta find the subclass. But John, do you think you can find it?
What is it?
To magic.
It's in sorcerer. It's under sorcerer in the subclass section. I love that everything in the book is color coded too.
Yeah, that helps a ton.
Amazing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you know if you're in the next section or not.
Wizards?
No, sorcerers.
Sorcerer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorcerers.
Mm-hmm. What ability was it?
I've got it.
Oh.
It's called comic timing. So by 6th level, your wacky antics ensure your safety. When hostile creature you can see within 5 feet of you makes an attack, you can use your reaction and spend 1 sorcery point to do one of the following.
Okay.
You prank the attacker an instant before it attacks, such as by throwing a pie in its face or imposing disadvantage on the attack. And then if the attacker hits, the target is magically squished flat, deflated like a balloon, momentarily chopped in half or burned into a crisp. As a result, the target has resistance to this damage and is knocked forward.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So it's literally just making a cartoon out of D&D. I love it. It's making the wacky little the cartoons we used to see as little kids.
Yeah.
You know? That was the funniest thing to read.
Yeah.
Comic timing ability, that was great.
Another one I really like is I forget what it's called, but it's a wizard subclass that focuses on magic missile. Right, and it amplifies your magic missile. At one point you have like an array of magic missiles just floating around you that actually give you an increased AC.
Cool.
Right, and it just upgrades magic missile. And there's another one that focuses on sleep. It's called the Somnomancer.
Huh. Yeah. Any other subclasses you guys want to mention?
I think this pestilence domain is really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for the cleric.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, Ghostfire did a version of that too.
The channel divinity infection is really cool. Like you can basically reduce movement. You can basically blind somebody. And then there's this viral infection. It's really cool. So, and it's at 17.
Yeah.
It's pretty high, but still, it's pretty nuts. Because you can basically infect one creature, and then any other creature that's within 5 feet, you can use a bonus action or a reaction to cause the infection to spread.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's I love how thematic everything is. Right, the pestilence cleric like really focuses on pestilence. Infection and all that stuff.
Yep. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is you worship gods who favor corruption and plague.
Yep, you're an evil cleric. Yeah, perfect for an evil campaign.
Really cool.
Yeah, where
it's funny how we keep finding stuff.
I know
for evil.
This is
campaigns.
this is a horror book.
I mean,
you can be a toy with a bag of dead bodies. You're just a psychotic toy with a bag of dead bodies.
You're a Chucky doll.
Yeah, Chucky doll. Yeah.
Jeez.
Wow.
The ultimate Chucky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a bunch of other things other than the subclasses. There's a bunch of magic items and 137 spells. Like there's a bunch more to go into and some more variant rules and stuff. There's one more thing I want to talk about, which is the mini game that's included in this book, which is Siege Ball.
It's at the very back. It's a mini game called Siege Ball.
This is the last thing we'll probably talk about for the book. Other, just some quick things afterward. But I'm just gonna go over the general rules for the Siege Ball game, and it's hilarious. It looks like the funniest thing ever to play. So the goal of the game is to grab the ball in the center of the arena, and try to knock your opponent's tower down completely before they can knock down yours. this ball is a super heavy, super like very, very dense thing that just deals a bunch of damage to whatever it hits. So as you can probably say, everything goes in here. You can kill players. you can kill player characters. You can kill NPCs. You can break walls down. You can break the arena. You can break people's towers. You can do anything you want.
Yeah.
So they say this game's more like a gladiator style fight as opposed to a game.
It's like a battle royale style game.
It's like you're like the movie Gladiator. You're stuck in an arena and you just gotta fight to the death. And but the basics of the game is to throw this ball that they make look sort of like a football at the opponent's towers, and it deals certain amounts of damage equal to its momentum. I couldn't really just by scanning through it real quick figure out the momentum points thing. Yeah, but I'm sure it details it pretty well in there.
Yeah, that's one part of the book that I hadn't looked at was the game. Yeah, but yeah, I thought that was pretty fun. That'd be fun. A fun game to put in, like you go into a town of some sort, and there's this weird game going on. What is this game? It's called Siege Ball. You want to play? You want to play here? You just die. You throw it at them and they die.
Yeah. But that's all I've got for the book. So,
the only other thing like worth mentioning, I think, is like the auxiliary feats. I love the auxiliary feats. Did you have the chance to look at those when you were looking through it?
No, I didn't.
But anyways, they're like it's like a feat that you take, but it's like a combination between a feat and a multi-class. So like it scales up like you would get if you were to multi-class into something, right? So like there's a pugilist auxiliary feat. Where basically you get a scaling unarmed strike die, right? So like you can, if you really want to be like a fighter who fights with their hands, right? You can instead of multi-classing into monk, you can just take like an auxiliary feat and it'll make it scale with you, right? And there's one for a pet. There's one for all kinds of.
So do you do that instead of leveling up then?
No. You take it like you would take a feat. You take you take this level, right? Is like this. You're taking this instead of a feat, essentially, and it scales up as you level with your normal class.
Cool.
But yeah, those are really cool. There's a lot of different ones.
All right.
Now we're gonna go through the playtest.
The playtest material. So that's the end of Valdas Spire.
I don't think
Secrets.
you saw this at all, did you? The new playtest. They released it. It's got the monk, the barbarian, and there was another class, right? There was a third one.
The monk, barbarian.
Was it druid?
Druid, yeah.
Druid, yeah.
Real quick though, before we get into that, just shout out Valdas Spire Secrets one more time where you can get it.
Well, I don't know if you can get it yet on their website, but you will be able to get it on magehandpress.com. So yeah, if you go to Magehand Press, they have a lot of products, and they have a really cool sci-fi expansion called Dark Matter, and like there's a lot of space and sci-fi stuff. There's a gadgeteer class. So like it's like an engineer kind of a class. It's really cool in there. So yeah, they have a lot of cool products, and I'm sure it'll be available soon in physical form on their website. If not already, I haven't looked.
Yeah, keep an eye out for a book that looks like that.
This just came on from their Kickstarter. So
are we okay with ending it?
Yeah, we did it
just today.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right.
Sorry,
that's it.
Getting hungry. So
so that's it for this episode.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, we won't worry about the playtest. Like other people are posting videos about it.
Yeah. Well, we could always do it next.
Yeah, we could. We'll go over it a little bit next time.
Yeah, we got space next week, so we'll fit it in there somewhere.
But no, this was a good one.
Yeah. This is already long enough. We're almost at an hour and a half. So, thanks everyone for tuning into this very long episode. It's overdue. We've had some short ones in the past couple, so this is long overdue for a big one. So, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.